Hey everyone, it's Laura from Into the Moon House, and I'm a spiritual life coach, teacher, healer, and journalist. And we're getting into the sky energy, and we're talking eclipses. And I'd love to share with you what you may expect, what is going on in the world, what you can do to work best with this energy, and let's get started. I have chosen to actually share about the whole season. In the Into the Moon House Facebook group, you have different live streams that you can use to really understand what's going on a collective level and what you can do with that yourself. So there's live streams about your relationships and your relationship connections, on your family and family history and how it impacts you, on how you can build a future for yourself that is much more aligned with your skills and skill set and your values. On purpose, being on purpose and working with that calling that you may have heard, like there's more out there. So I break down these topics for you so that you can, you can get help in this time and space reality, because what I'm really good at is tuning into the collective energy. So all the things that other people can't see, I can feel, I can get to, and the sky is what reveals that. And what I personally do is I also tap into the feeling and the energy of Earth. That's something I can do. I've always done that. And it can help you so much to make sense of, again, what's going on, but not get involved or not get dragged down by it, but see like, oh, wow, this is what's happening and this is how I can take it to a higher level of myself. So your highest self can come out and play, which is where the satisfaction is anyway. So I decided I'll do different live streams on the eclipses coming up, the different ones, and on Mercury retrograde. However, I felt I want to give you the overall picture first, because in life, it's super important to understand the roadmap. What is happening? Where are you, and why is that happening? Because then, if you understand it, you don't have to worry so much about what is going on, and it's easier to focus back on your own actions and your thoughts, which is the only thing you have influence over anyway. So what is coming up? We have the 5th of June, we have a lunar eclipse. And the lunar eclipse, this is going to be in Sagittarius and Gemini, the axis. So this one is happening in Sagittarius, which means we are releasing something out around our spiritual values, and values and truth and integrity and what people think about certain situations, who is speaking the truth, what is truth, all the conspiracy theories you've been seeing, people questioning how to get to truth, all of that is going to it is coming up because we're going into a time period in which you are going to be questioned about making up your own mind, but especially because, Gemini it's an air sign. It's using the mind. It can deduct facts and make decisions. So it doesn't get that emotionally involved, actually, and that is what you're about to learn, how to see truth, how you act on it, and are you actually acting on your own values. Now, this is going to be difficult for a lot of people. This is also why we're going to see a lot of extremism in thoughts, both from the left side, like more left-wing, climate activists, society, versus like the right wing, which are definitely like the racism and political views that are very extremely conservative and not inclusive. But you're going to see both sides are doing it. So that is going to be interesting. Yeah, you'll also see that Certain things are falling apart in regards to business, how we've done business. Are we even thinking about other people? And everything is going to be questioned around that. And we already see that. And it's going to be a good thing. So I want to bring in why it's going to be a good thing. Because where we want to move to, if we want to create a sustainable society for everyone, which is going to be, if we want to go for inclusive, then of course we need to create a certain type of stability. And that's definitely also starting with how we use our resources, how we use other people, and how we treat other people. That's probably what I want to say. And I think we use other people too often. You will, it's a process. So you will still see, or you're seeing that. Actually, it's going to intensify more the individual and the egotistical approach versus are we thinking about the whole? Am I thinking about myself, or am I just thinking about the whole? And the combination should be, and this is actually coming up with the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is going to happen in Cancer the 21st of June, which is also at midsummer. And it's going to be around understanding that so this may sound a little bit contradictory. It's going to be about you are an individual. You've always been an individual with your very unique gifts and talents. But the realization that what you feel is valid and that it tells you something. So there's a higher level of satisfaction around that going to be possible. And at the same time, we should have the realization that, therefore, other people are very similar to you. So there's actually more possibility for empathy available. Now, ideally, when there's empathy available and we understand that other people really aren't as different as we are, now we can start thinking more as a community, because that is what is going to be needed. And this is really like the highest level outcome that we're moving toward. This is definitely not what you're going to notice at first. So maybe I should talk a little bit more about this Sagittarius Gemini axis that we're going into. So because what I said, what you can actually expect is like a lot of questioning around what is truth, who is speaking the truth, where does it come from? There's a higher level of spirituality involved with this as well, because we have Jupiter in the mix. But Jupiter is going to be constricted. And with constricted, I mean, there's the people will feel that their freedom and their freedom of thought is being questioned, and they can't express themselves and they're being held back. And we already see that playing out. The only thing I can say is that it's going to dial up massively. Even we definitely are not at the peak of this. You see you're going to see that a lot of people are done with being patient, actually. And in a sense, if they have some common sense, then it's a good thing. And if they don't have that common sense, then it can be a little bit annoying. But you will see that people's values and what they believe in is going to be very important to them. And the understanding, actually, of other people, the understanding for the values. So maybe I should say that values are super important. Understanding for values of others are going to be more important. And that means that more choices are going to be made in which there's going to be a clear separation between groups and group thoughts of groups. Because one group is going to say that the other has no understanding for impacts on society. You will see more people get wound up over opinions there is, so this is this one is quite important though. There's going to be so much confusion and so much untruthfulness that is going to be singing around, and people will believe it to be true, but there's no real. And I'm definitely not talking from the government side only. I'm talking from all levels, because let's be fair and honest. It's not a new thing that there are politics and a lot of things are happening behind closed doors. Please, let's not pretend that's not the case. But let's also not pretend that you, the public, suddenly knows everything about it if you've not done actual research. Anyway, so this is probably going into deaf ears, because this is what we need to learn the coming years. It's like how able are you, or how capable are you to come to truths, and how capable are you to take decisions that are, are for the well-being of society and for others. And of course, you're going to see that not everyone wants to do that, and we're going to have like split energy there for sure. This is why I said conspiracy theories. I'm calling them conspiracy theories, but they're going to rise. The confusion is going to rise, and again, people will believe a lot of these. These theories, you'll definitely see that because it's a square with Neptune, Mars. But you'll see that with around Corona. We already saw that around the virus. That there's a lot of confusion and hidden agendas, and people are thinking about it's going to be threats, and oh my God. So my advice is to not get into that, to just observe it, observe what is going on, because let's leap forward a little bit. What I think as well, if we talk about just changing things around a little bit, if we just talk astrology, if I look at September, October, November already, and then eclipse impacts for 6 years anyway, I don't think we should think that at the end of the year everything is back to normal as we knew it. So the easy thing is to surrender. I know people want outcomes, right? You want outcomes. You want to know what's going on. You want to know what to do best, and we'll talk about that. But the especially if we talk like longer term travel as well, there's going to be restrictions, and in September, October, November, there's a higher possibility that everything gets restricted again, or there's more restrictions and limitations coming, and that has the potential to create more outrage with people that feel that freedom are being taken from them. I want to say, if you feel so much outrage around that, then because freedom is the best thing, and it comes with the highest level of responsibility. So if you are someone that actually acts upon your freedom in your day-to-day life, and you take the choices, you always take like the high road in regards to this. I know maybe you're like, who what do you mean always take the high road? What I do mean is, if you allow yourself to be stuck in situations, if you allow yourself to choose like jobs, for example, and relationships that are not making you happy, and you feel like you have to anyway, you have no other choice, then really you don't understand the concept of freedom. I really don't know what you're talking about if you're going to say other people are taking your freedom, because again, life it reflects back to you. So you just see the reflection of what you do internally, and you've not learned the strategy and the structures to really assist you with the levels of freedom. So, okay, lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse is about releasing. So a lot of old values, old purpose, all the things that we did for certain reasons, they are shifting out. Then I want to fast forward as well to the July eclipse, which is in Capricorn. What I think is a very interesting one is we are all definitely being asked to examine our history. And we're asked to look at history. Where did we come from? Where is our society built on? Do we still want to do this like this? So I've talked about the colonialism before, and racism are all topics that are, we're going to have to examine if we want to build something new. I think that's it for now. It's not on top of the agenda, actually.